In the darkest of nights, when the stars refuse to shine and the moon hides its face, that's when you truly discover what you are made of. Let me tell you a story about a young man named David. David had it all: a promising career, a loving family, and dreams as big as the sky. But life, as it often does, had other plans. One fateful morning, David woke up to find his world crumbling around him. His company had gone bankrupt overnight, leaving him jobless. His fiancée, unable to handle the uncertainty, left him. And to top it all off, his doctor called with news that would shake anyone to their core. A health scare that threatened everything he held dear. In that moment, David felt like he lost all hope. He could feel the cold tendrils of despair wrapping around his heart, whispering that it was all over, that there was no point in going on. But you see, that's where most people get it wrong. That moment, that rock bottom, is not the end. It's the beginning. Now, I know what you're thinking. Easy for you to say. You do not know what it feels like to lose everything. And you are right, I do not know your specific pain. But I do know this: as long as you are breathing, as long as your heart is beating, you have hope. You have a chance to turn it all around. David, in that moment of despair, had a choice to make. He could give in to the darkness, let it consume him, become another statistic, another tale of what could have been, or he could choose to fight. And let me tell you, the choice to fight, to hold on to hope when everything seems hopeless, that's the stuff legends are made of. Losing all hope is not the end. It's an opportunity. An opportunity to rebuild, to reinvent, to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. It's a chance to prove to yourself and to the world what you are truly capable of. Now, I'm not going to stand here and tell you it's easy. It's not. When you have lost all hope, every step forward feels like you are walking through quicksand. Every breath feels like it might be your last. But here's the secret. You do not have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just need to have the courage to take that step. David decided to take that step. He looked at his life, stripped bare of all the trappings of success he once knew, and he made a decision. He decided that this was not going to be his end, but his beginning. He decided to redefine what success meant to him. He started small. He could not control the economy that had taken his job, but he could control his actions. So he started volunteering at a local shelter. He couldn't bring back his fiancée, but he could work on becoming the kind of person he'd want to be with. So he started reading, learning, growing. He couldn't immediately cure his health issues, but he could focus on what he could do: eat better, exercise, take care of his mental health. Day by day, step by step, David began to rebuild. And you know what? Something magical started to happen. As he focused on giving value, on growing, on taking care of himself, new opportunities began to appear. A connection he made at the shelter led to a job opportunity. His newfound knowledge and skills opened doors he never knew existed. His improved health and outlook on life attracted new relationships. But here's the kicker. None of this would have happened if David had given in to hopelessness. If he had decided that all was lost, he would have missed out on the incredible journey that was waiting for him on the other side of despair. And that, my friends, is the power of hope. Hope is not some fluffy, feel-good emotion. Hope is a decision. It's a choice you make every single day to believe that tomorrow can be better than today. It's the fuel that keeps you going when everything else has run dry. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, but you do not understand. My situation is different. It's hopeless. Let me tell you something. As long as you are alive, as long as you have the ability to make choices, your situation is never hopeless. Never. You see, hope is not about having all the answers. It's not about knowing exactly how you are going to turn things around. Hope is about believing that you can turn things around even when you cannot see how. It's about trusting in your ability to figure things out, to adapt, to overcome. Think about it this way. Every single person who has ever achieved greatness, who has ever overcome incredible odds, who has ever changed the world, they all started exactly where you are right now. They all faced moments where it seemed like all hope was lost. The only difference between them and those who gave up, they chose to hold on to hope. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before creating the light bulb. Imagine if he had lost hope after the 999th attempt. We might still be sitting in the dark. Colonel Sanders was 65 years old, broke, and living in his car when he started KFC. Imagine if he had decided it was too late, that there was no hope for a new beginning at his age. The pages of history are filled with stories of people who refused to lose hope, even when all seemed lost. And you know what? Your story can be one of them. Your chapter, despair, can be the prelude to an incredible comeback story. But here's the thing. Hope alone is not enough. Hope needs to be coupled with action. Hoping things will get better while you sit on your couch, wallowing in self-pity, that's not hope. That's wishful thinking. Real hope, the kind that changes lives, the kind that moves mountains, that hope gets you off the couch. It gets you taking action, no matter how small. Remember David? His journey back from the brink did not happen overnight. It happened one small action at a time. One day of volunteering, one book read, one healthy meal, one workout, one moment of choosing positivity over negativity. These small actions, fueled by hope, compounded over time to create massive change. And that's the secret. When you have lost all hope, when you feel like you are at rock bottom, start small. Do not try to solve all your problems at once. Do not try to reconstruct your entire life in a day. Start with one small action. One small step in the right direction. Maybe it's making your bed in the morning. Maybe it's going for a 10-minute walk. Maybe it's calling an old friend. Maybe it's applying for one job. Whatever it is, do that one thing and then do it again tomorrow. And the next day. And the day after that. You see, hope is not about waiting for things to get better. It's about working to make things better. It's about taking responsibility for your life, for your happiness, for your success. It's about understanding that while you cannot control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you respond. When you lose all hope, that's when you need to dig deep. That's when you need to remind yourself of who you are, of what you're capable of. That's when you need to look in the mirror and say, this is not the end of my story. This is just the end of a chapter, and I'm going to write the next chapter. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what if I try and fail? What if I hope and get disappointed? And to that I say, so what? What if you do fail? What if you do get disappointed? Is that any worse than where you are right now, feeling hopeless? Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Disappointment is not the enemy of hope. It's the training ground for hope. Each time you fail, each time you're disappointed, you have a choice. You can let it defeat you, or you can let it teach you. You can let it diminish your hope, or you can let it strengthen your resolve. When you've lost all hope, when you're at your lowest point, that's when you have the greatest opportunity for growth. That's when you have the chance to redefine yourself, to discover strengths you never knew you had, to uncover passions you never knew existed. Think about a forest after a wildfire. At first glance, it looks devastated, hopeless. But given time, given the right conditions, new growth emerges. And often this new growth is stronger, more vibrant than what was there before. Your life can be like that forest. Your moment of hopelessness can be the fire that clears the way for new growth, for a stronger, more resilient you. But here's the key. You have to be willing to nurture that growth. You have to be willing to water the seeds of hope with your sweat, your tears, your determination. You have to be willing to protect those fragile sprouts of new possibilities from the harsh winds of negativity and doubt. And let me tell you something. It's worth it. The person you become when you choose hope in the face of hopelessness, when you choose action in the face of despair, that person is unstoppable. That person has been through the fire and come out stronger. That person knows that no matter what life throws their way, they have the strength, the resilience, the hope to overcome it. Now, I want you to think about something for a moment. Think about all the times in your life when you thought you could not go on, when you thought all hope was lost. You are here now are not you. You made it through. You survived. And if you have done it before, you can do it again. You are stronger than you think. You are more resilient than you know. When you lose all hope, that's when you need to remind yourself of your past victories. That's when you need to look back and see how far you have come. That's when you need to remember all the times you thought you could not make it, but you did. Hope is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Each time you choose hope over despair, each time you take action instead of giving up, you are strengthening that muscle. You are building your hope and resilience. And here's something else to consider. When you choose hope, when you refuse to give up, even when all seems lost, you are not just changing your own life. You are inspiring others. You are showing the world what's possible. You are becoming a beacon of hope for those around you who might be struggling with their own battles. Think about it. How many times has someone else's story of overcoming adversity inspired you? How many times has seeing someone else refuse to give up given you the strength to keep going? By choosing hope, by fighting your way back from the brink. You have the power to create a ripple effect of hope that touches countless lives. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. There will be days when hope feels like a distant memory, when the weight of your challenges feels too heavy to bear. On those days, I want you to remember this. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel hopeless sometimes. What's not okay is to stay there. Feel your feelings, acknowledge your pain, but do not unpack and live there. Use those feelings as fuel. Let them remind you of why you started this journey in the first place. Let them strengthen your resolve to keep going, to keep hoping, to keep fighting. And on the days when you cannot find hope within yourself, borrow it from others. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who support your dreams, who remind you of your strength when you forget. Read books about people who have overcome incredible odds. Listen to stories of resilience and triumph. Let their hope ignite your own. Remember David? His journey was not always smooth. There were days when he wanted to give up, when the voice of hopelessness was louder than the voice of hope. But he kept going. He kept taking those small actions. He kept choosing hope day after day. And you know what happened? His life did not just go back to what it was before. It became better than he ever imagined. The job he found wasn't just a job. It was a calling. The relationships he built were not just replacements for what he lost. They were deeper, more meaningful connections. His health scare became a wake-up call that led him to a level of vitality he never experienced before. But none of that would have happened if he had given in to hopelessness. None of that would have happened if he had decided that all was lost. His darkest moment became the catalyst for his greatest transformation. And that's what I want you to understand. Your moment of hopelessness, your darkest hour, it's not the end. It's not even the beginning of the end. It's the end of the beginning. It's the end of who you used to be and the beginning of who you can become. When you lose all hope, that's when you have the greatest opportunity to redefine hope, to discover that hope is not about everything going your way. Hope is about believing that no matter what comes your way, you have what it takes to handle it. Hope is about understanding that your circumstances do not define you. Your response to those circumstances does. If you are feeling hopeless, if you feel like you have lost everything, use this moment. Use it as a springboard to launch yourself into a new chapter of your life. Use it as motivation to become the person you have always known you could be. Start small. Take one action today that moves you in the direction of your dreams. It doesn't matter how small it is. What matters is that you do it, and then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. Build your hope muscle, strengthen it with every choice, every action, every step forward. And watch as those small steps, fueled by unwavering hope, begin to create massive change in your life. Remember, as long as you're breathing, there's hope. As long as you have the ability to make choices, you have the power to change your life. Do not waste your pain. Do not waste your challenges. Use them. Let them fuel your comeback story. Because that's what this is, you know? It's not the end of your story, it's the beginning of your comeback. And let me tell you something. The world loves a good comeback story. The world needs your comeback story. So choose hope. Choose action. Choose to believe in yourself and your ability to overcome. Choose to write a new chapter, a better chapter. Choose to turn your moment of hopelessness into the launching pad for your greatest achievements. Because when you lose all hope, that's when you have the chance to redefine what hope means to you. That's when you have the opportunity to discover a strength within you that you never knew existed. That's when you have the chance to prove to yourself and to the world what you are truly capable of. Your story is not over. This is not the final chapter. This is just the setup for the most incredible comeback the world has ever seen. Your comeback. So hold on to hope, nurture it, strengthen it, and watch as it transforms not just your life, but the lives of those around you. Remember, the darkest hour is just before dawn, and your dawn is coming, but you have to be awake to see it. You have to be moving to meet it. You have to be hoping to recognize it. Because when you lose all hope, that's when you have the greatest opportunity to become a living, breathing testament to the power of hope. That's when you have the chance to become hope personified. And let me tell you, there's nothing more powerful, nothing more inspiring, nothing more world-changing than a person who has stared hopelessness in the face and said, "Not today. Today I choose hope. Today I choose to fight. Today I choose to believe in the possibility of a better tomorrow." Remember that every great story has its moments of darkness. Think about your favorite books or movies. The hero always faces seemingly insurmountable odds. They always have that moment where all seems lost. But what makes their story inspiring? What keeps us on the edge of our seats? Is their refusal to give up? You are the hero of your own story. And right now, you are in that pivotal chapter where everything hangs in the balance. This is your moment to rise, to show what you are made of, to prove that hope can triumph over despair. Now, I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine yourself a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Imagine that you have held on to hope, that you have taken action every day, that you have refused to let your current circumstances define your future. Who have you become? What have you accomplished? How has your life changed? That future version of yourself is real. They exist in potential, waiting for you to bring them into reality. And the bridge between who you are now and who you can become is built with hope and action. You see, hope is not just a feeling. It's a tool. It's a weapon against despair, a shield against negativity, a compass when you feel lost. But like any tool, it's only effective if you use it. You have to actively choose hope every single day. You have to wield it, sharpen it, and rely on it. And here's something crucial to understand. Hope does not mean believing that everything will be perfect. Hope means believing that something good can come out of even the darkest situations. It means trusting that even if things do not work out exactly as you planned, you have the strength and resilience to handle whatever comes your way. Think about a farmer planting seeds. They do not know for certain that every seed will grow. They do not know if there will be drought or floods or pests, but they plant anyway. They water, they tend, they care for their crops. That's hope in action. That's the kind of hope that changes lives, that moves mountains, that creates miracles. You are that farmer. Your dreams, your goals, your vision for a better future, those are your seeds. And yes, there might be storms, there might be droughts, there might be times when it seems like nothing is growing, but you keep planting, you keep watering, you keep believing. Because you know that as long as you keep putting in the work, as long as you keep holding on to hope, eventually your harvest will come. Something that often goes hand in hand with hopelessness: fear. When you have lost everything, when you are staring into the abyss of an uncertain future, It's natural to feel afraid. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of being hurt again. These fears can paralyze you, can keep you stuck in a cycle of hopelessness. But here's the truth about fear. It's often a liar. Fear tells you that you cannot when you can. It tells you that you are weak when you are strong. It tells you that there's no hope when hope is right there, waiting for you to grab hold of it. So how do you combat fear? You face it, you acknowledge it, you feel it, but you do not let it control you. You use it as fuel. Let your fear of staying stuck motivate you to move forward. Let your fear of a hopeless future drive you to create a hopeful one. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and taking action anyway. And every time you choose action over paralysis, every time you choose hope over fear, you are building your courage muscle. You are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your fears. Now, I want to address something that often comes up when we talk about hope in the face of hopelessness. Some people might tell you that holding on to hope is naive, that it's better to be realistic and accept your circumstances. But let me tell you something. There's nothing realistic about giving up on your life, on your dreams, on your potential. Being hopeful does not mean ignoring reality. It means looking at reality and saying, I can make this better. It means acknowledging your challenges but refusing to be fined by them. It means understanding that while you cannot control everything that happens to you, you always have control over how you respond. Think about some of the greatest achievements in human history. The Wright brothers believing they could fly. Martin Luther King Jr. believing in a world of equality. Scientists believing they could eradicate diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. If these people had chosen to be realistic instead of holding on to hope, where would we be today? Your hopes, your dreams, your vision for a better future, they matter. They're not just wishful thinking. They are the seeds of real change, of real progress, of real transformation. But you have to nurture them. You have to protect them. You have to believe in them, even when no one else does. And here's something else to consider. When you choose hope in the face of hopelessness, you are not just changing your own life. You are changing the world around you. Your hope, your resilience, your refusal to give up, it inspires others, shows them what's possible. It gives them permission to hope, to dream, to believe in a better future. Think about the ripple effect of your hope. When you refuse to give up, when you keep moving forward despite the odds, you become a living, breathing example of the power of hope. You become a light in someone else's darkness. You become the story that someone else needs to hear to keep going. Now, I wanted to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the importance of small actions. When you are climbing out of the pit of hopelessness, it's easy to get overwhelmed by how far you have to go. That's why it's crucial to focus on small, consistent actions. Maybe you cannot fix your entire life today. Maybe you cannot solve all your problems in one go. But you can take one small step. You can make one positive choice. You can do one thing, no matter how small. That moves you in the direction of your dream. It might be making your bed in the morning. It might be drinking a glass of water instead of a soda. It might be spending 5 minutes reading an inspirational book. Whatever it is, do it. And then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. These small actions, fueled by hope and consistency, have the power to create massive change over time. It's like the story of the stonecutter. He hammers at a rock maybe 100 times without as much as a crack showing in it. Then on the 101st blow, it splits in two. It wasn't that last blow that did it, but all that gone before. Your journey from hopelessness to hope, from despair to triumph, it's like that. Every small action, every choice to hold on to hope, every step forward, they are all hammer blows. And though you might not see results right away, though it might feel like nothing is changing, know that every single one of those actions is making a difference. They are all adding up, creating cracks in the stone of your challenges, weakening the walls of your limitations. And one day, perhaps when you least expect it, everything will suddenly shift. The stone will split, the walls will crumble, and you'll find yourself standing in the light of a new day, a new life, a new you. But here's the key. You have to keep swinging that hammer. You have to keep taking those small actions. You have to keep holding on to hope even when you cannot see results yet. Because it's in those moments when it feels like nothing is changing that everything is actually changing. Something that's crucial in your journey from hopelessness to hope. Self-talk, the way you speak to yourself, the stories you tell yourself about who you are and what you are capable of. They matter. They matter more than you might realize. When you have lost all hope, it's easy to fall into negative self-talk. I'm a failure. I'll never get through this. Things will never get better. But I want you to understand something. These thoughts, these words, they're not just harmless expressions of frustration. They're powerful. They shape your reality. They influence your actions. They can either fuel your hope or feed your hopelessness. So I challenge you to become aware of your self-talk. Pay attention to the words you use when you think about yourself and your situation. And when you catch yourself in negative self-talk, stop, take a deep breath, and consciously choose to reframe your thoughts. Instead of I'm a failure, try I'm learning and growing. Instead of I'll never get through this, try this is tough, but I'm tougher. Instead of things will never get better, try I cannot see how things will improve right now, but I choose to believe they will. This is not about denying your feelings or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing words that empower you rather than defeat you. It's about using your self-talk as a tool to build hope rather than reinforce hopelessness. Remember, you are not your circumstances. You are not your past failures. You are not your current challenges. You are a being of infinite potential, capable of growth, change, and triumph. Speak to yourself with that truth in mind. As we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with this thought. Hope is a choice. It's a choice you make every single day, sometimes every single moment. It's a choice to believe in the possibility of a better tomorrow, even when today seems dark. It's a choice to keep moving forward, even when the path ahead is unclear. And here's the beautiful thing about this choice. The more you make it, the easier it becomes. The more you choose hope, the more natural it feels. The more you act in alignment with hope, the more evidence you create for why hope is justified. Starting right now to make that choice. Choose hope. Choose to believe in yourself and your ability to overcome. Choose to take action, no matter how small, towards the life you want to create. Because when you lose all hope, that's when you have the greatest opportunity to redefine what hope means to you. That's when you have the chance to discover a strength within you that you never knew existed. That's when you have the opportunity to write the most incredible comeback story the world has ever seen. Your story is not over. This chapter of hopelessness, it's just that a chapter, it's not the end of your book. You have the power to turn the page, to start a new chapter, to rewrite your story. So stand up, take a deep breath. Feel the hope that's always been within you, waiting for you to recognize it, to embrace it, to a first step on it, and take that first step. Because your journey from hopelessness to hope, from despair to triumph, it starts now. The world is waiting for your light to shine again. It's waiting for your hope to inspire, for your comeback to motivate. Do not keep the world waiting. Go out there and show the world what hope looks like in action. Show the world what's possible when you refuse to give up, when you choose to believe in yourself even when no one else does. Show the world the power of a heart that refuses to lose hope, no matter how dark the night. Because when you lose all hope, that's when you have the greatest opportunity to become a living, breathing testament to the power of hope. That's when you have the chance to become hope personified. And there's nothing more powerful, nothing more inspiring, Nothing more world-changing than a person who has stared hopelessness in the face and said, "Not today. Today, I choose hope. Today, I choose to fight. Today, I choose to believe in the possibility of a better tomorrow." So choose hope. Choose life. Choose to be the author of your own comeback story, because your greatest chapter is still waiting to be written. And it begins the moment you decide that no matter how dark the night, you will hold on to the hope of dawn. Your time is now. Your hope is now. Your comeback starts now. Go out there and make it happen. The world is waiting for your light to shine again. Do not keep it waiting. Shine on, my friends. Shine on.